Hi, everyone. My name's Katie Richards, and welcome back to another episode of MHEDA Talks. I'm here with Meredith Shay, the owner and CEO of InCord, and Robin Ritz, the owner and VP of Sales and Marketing at InCord. Very happy to be here with you guys. How are you doing today?
We're doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, well, great. You guys are, you've been guests before, and everyone loves to hear what InCord has to say because it's no secret you're a trailblazer when it comes to employee retention, employee culture. Why don't you give us a quick overview of who InCord is and how you fit in the material handling industry?
Sure. InCord is a custom safety netting provider. So we work quite a bit with companies providing safety netting for racking, conveyor guard, and other netting on the job site to have a safe workplace for employees.
Excellent. And safety is probably we have material handling business trends, which are members telling us what's trends facing the industry year after year. Safety is always, if not number one, it's a trend that comes up a lot. And so we're happy to have, reliable partners in that space. So let's jump into it. It's like I said, it's no secret. I mean, you have been known for employee retention culture. You've been the top place to work since 2011 consistently. How would you each describe each other's leadership style in maybe one or two words?
So I would describe Robin's leadership style as a coach and as a visionary. She really holds that dream not only for the company, but also for individual employees and helps align those two dreams together to create our future.
Thank you. My first two words for Meredith's leadership is the best. The best. But other words to describe her is really grace and grit. She leads by example, and she's transparent with our strategies, the expectations, holds people accountable, and really just gets us all rowing in the right direction with a focus on quality, with a focus on safety, and it's wonderfully consistent, and it holds us all together.
Absolutely. There's, with the uptick of AI and becoming more efficient and different, software we can be using, that human side we all crave. We're all humans at the end of the day. And so that's awesome. I love hearing that. And then would you say, I'm sure you'd say, how do you think employees would describe your leadership style?
I think probably the most consistent thing we've heard from our employees is you're always on the same page. We really prioritize talking to each other constantly and, being in that constant communication. So our employees aren't hearing something different from one of us. They can go to either one of us and, maybe it's different words, but they're getting the same message. So there's a consistency to that that's really grounding for our employees.
Yeah. And like you said, it makes you more decisive when you know where you're going. That's amazing. So top place to work since 2011. I mean, that's amazing. That's no small feat. What practices, behaviors, habits, like what do you think attributes to that standout culture you have year after year?
I think it's really day to day, we're living it. It's not something you can just do once a month or, every quarter, every single day. We're really intentional intentional at connecting with our employees and understanding and meeting them where they're at with what they need to do their job successfully, what's holding them back, either personally or in the workplace that we can help them work through as a team or as mentors and leaders in the company. So when we get the feedback from the top workplace survey, we assemble a group that really addresses those concerns our employees have, and we make a plan for the next year of how we're going to address them holistically, and then follow up with our employees on this is what we heard, and here's how we can improve this and still align with our company goals.
Wow. So yeah, it's a never ending cycle, or, it's a feedback loop that you're constantly getting. And I'm sure, from an employee standpoint, that would help me feel dialed in, that are asking each employee their opinions and what they think. So that makes sense. That's amazing. So, InCord, you guys have come to many of our conferences. I can think of a couple employees from InCord that I always see at like our next generation leadership conferences. And so I'm wondering, do you have any specific stories that you can share when it comes to, maybe there was a moment where you said, this is the strong culture that I hoped to create, and I saw it from like a story standpoint.
So I do echo what Meredith says as far as daily we get that feedback loop and that affirmation. Our founders started InCord to be an exemplary employer. We urge every employee to be the change that they want to see, to make this the workplace that they want it to be. And one of the ways that we keep that feedback loop, like Meredith mentioned, with helping understand how we can improve the company, but I come at it from a dream management standpoint. So very recently, we were conducting vision board workshops, and the participants were seasoned in having already created vision boards and having already accomplished the goals and objectives that they had set on the previous ones. And they all stated, in addition to what I am now trying to manifest, it doesn't change my career. I'm going to be at InCord. My future is at InCord. And so this balancing of helping people in their personal lives achieve their goals and giving them meaningful work in a workplace that they're proud of what they're doing, and they know they're not sacrificing what's important to them. And that to me really speaks to what we're trying to do here, is that when people want to be a part of it and they know that they're being helped in a way that is meaningful to them, that is really validating to me, saying that this is why we're doing this. Yes, we're creating a safe product. Yes, we're creating something that makes the world a better place, but on an individual level, we're impacting lives in a meaningful way. And that's what InCord stands for.
So cool. I mean, from a vision board standpoint, I love a vision board, number one. But I mean that's it's helpful to hear that, okay, my employer likes me or wants me to succeed as an individual, and that looks at me as a holistic person, not just an employee of InCord. And so to pair in vision boards and things that you might do on a personal level, but then doing it at work, it shows how much you care. Everyone I think learns a lot from stories. And so thanks for sharing that. I'm wondering, when it comes to those first few weeks, let's say before you really identify somebody is going to be like a leader in the company, what are some standout things that you try to accomplish in those first few weeks of maybe hiring a new employee on the job?
So we really took a second look at how we were hiring individuals and how we were having them like encompassed in our culture immediately. And so we did a lot of feedback surveys with people that were hired, within a year, and said, hey, what could we have done differently? What would have helped you understand the culture or how you were aligned to it earlier on? And so we came up with a really robust orientation schedule where individuals have a mix of working directly with their manager, but then also with other managers and other people in other departments to get a great understanding of the products that we have and those whys that drive each department on why they need certain information or really how that process looks. But it also allowed employees to have really direct connections with others in the company that maybe in their day-to-day job they wouldn't always have, but it gave them that inspiration and also just that understanding of this is what InCord means, and here's the stories they're sharing with me about how InCord helped them. And I want to be a part of that. And I think that orientation it's really changed individuals from feeling like it's taking 6 months to feel like I'm a part of this company to day one, I'm excited to be here and look how they're treating me already.
Yeah, being dialed into the bigger picture. What I wonder is, I've heard this as like a millennial trait, is that the millennials want to know like the why behind it. I think for a long time they would say, well, every generation always gets a bad rap in some way. We love to do that. But the myth I would say was always, oh, millennials, they're lazy or they want to immediately be promoted but you've hit on such a good part. It's the why. We want to know why we're doing what we're doing. We want to know why, because we want to contribute to the bigger picture. So saying that right up front, like in those first few weeks, it shows trust. It's like, hey, I hired you for a reason. I want you on this team. Let me sort of unveil the curtain or bring you in.
That's part of the day one empowerment of, when somebody knows the why, they feel empowered to provide feedback and participate in, promoting that goal further. And so we look at each employee and we do training at all levels to really ensure that employees feel empowered to be making decisions about what they're doing and understand how their decisions are fitting into the bigger picture. What decisions do you need other approval for safety reasons or engineering reasons, versus what decisions are you able to make on your own to ensure our customers are satisfied and getting products that they want on time?
Oh, yeah. So you're creating leaders right from the moment they step into InCord. I mean, you're empowering them with leadership skills day one, it sounds like.
And that's our management edge, is we try to empower at the lowest level. Not try, we do. We empower at the lowest level. So if everybody has the tools, resource, training that they need to successfully do their job, servant leadership management is just available for those exceptions when you truly need an assist. And so it frees up management from the bureaucratic, hierarchical inefficiencies of, I got to go upper to get a yes, or somebody else is going to tell me what to do. We're trusting that creative individual to use the resources that we've given them to do their job or ask for help when they need it. And so I think, there's an efficiency factor that works into that as well, that says, we trust you to do the job, or let us know when you need our help. And so that really is one of the edges of, it seems counterintuitive, but the more autonomy you give an individual in making decisions in their role, the more it frees you up as a manager.
Do you want to talk about the Threads for Excellence too that we started last year?
Sure. Yeah, so there's a program that we have as an internal program so that peer-to-peer employees can recognize each other for what we're calling the threads of excellence. And the threads of excellence relate back to our pillars. So it could be for sportsmanship, it could be for continuous improvement, it might be for reliability, for servant leadership. But there's, QR code that you can scan in and nominate. And then every month in the newsletter, it comes out with those employee nominated threads of excellence, recognition. And then we have a spin a wheel and pick the winner. And then at the end of the year, Meredith and I, we just did it this first year. We were able to really give a commemorative trophy to those individuals that had been nominated time and time again and recognized time and time again. But it's a way for us on a monthly schedule to recognize the leadership and those qualities, and that tie back to what we say is culturally important, and keep celebrating the evidence and the action that peer-to-peer is recognizing too. And I think that's when peers are holding each other accountable. It's also we're all rising together because of that held expectation and celebration. When somebody's just nailing it, you're like, God, this guy's great to work with. This person's really great to work with. And that feels really good across the board too. So that's the other way we've been reinforcing the leadership program, and that celebrating of these identifiable traits that we said are all important to us.
Definitely. I mean, like you said, I mean, from peer to peer, it feels good when number one, you can like recognize that somebody's doing so well, and maybe they're in a position where they wouldn't naturally get as much recognition. So being able to like do it in a really organic way, I'm sure across the board is so well received. And then from you can see like clear skill sets of people who maybe win it time and time again. And I think it's really cool. It's like you give enough what's the word? Like you give enough freedom for people to really just show exactly who they are, and their skill sets probably become more identifiable quicker because you're saying, hey, here's freedom. Like show us who you are. And then you might be able to identify leaders pretty quickly. Threads of excellence. Okay, love. I wonder, it's funny, you kind of led into my next question where it sounds like every individual is treated as a leader and you're developing leaders all the time. Now when you think of like maybe like the C-suite level or managers or directors, is there a specific path that you take somebody, or let's say that somebody won Threads of Excellence over and over? What happens next? Is there a path that they go on that's different than kind of what they've done in the beginning? Or yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
I would say that our organizational chart changes every single year because
Okay.
we're growing as a company and we're not committed to keeping that structure stagnant. The change and the growth that we see with our employees, it gets recognized in what they're doing. And as the individual grows, we recognize that in the position that they have. And, we'll change titles, we'll change job responsibilities so that everyone's aware of it. But we have a significant amount of employees that have been here for, 5, 7, 10 years. They might have the same job description, but because the company is still growing, what that job encompasses at this point is, double or triple what, it had started off as. And we just see that as the ability to grow organically, within our own organization.
Yeah, it sounds like InCord's like you guys are less hung up on this, like you said, like an org chart or bureaucratic structure, or, you have to report in this way, and more you're empowering each person to, do more, take on more, show their skill set. It sounds very organic.
It is, and there's that balance of we are very systematic. We are very, very, very process driven. We are Kaizen facility. We honor that process. So the product takes care of itself, but when you honor the people, the profits take care of itself. So it's that element of trusting the people to show you what needs to be done if it's outside of their job description, growing into it, and then constantly revisiting it to capture it, to sync it with the job descriptions and make sure that it's all in constant alignment. So it's a balance of let's see where we grow organically, but then how do we capture that in a pragmatic, practical way so that we're staying tried and true with our strategic plan and that we're not growing out in the wrong directions or for the wrong reasons, right? So it's a constant like a true gardener where you're like, let it grow and then you prune it and then you let it grow and you come back to the form. And it's it's a constant creative exercise, but we need both, right? You need the chaos and the structure, and then it comes together in a very systematic way.
It does. And I feel like we have some like very recent examples of employees that have come to us saying, it's a goal of mine to grow. Here's the job description I think this company needs. I'm ready to fill this position if you're willing to train me for it. This is what I feel is needed to serve our customers best. And we say, wow, let's take a look at that. Here's this engaged individual that is ready to grow and sees a need that really services our customers. Okay, like we've got something here that we can build on as a company, but also in that relationship with our customers and our employees to really provide a better service and a better product.
Yeah, I love that you shared Kaizen. I didn't realize that was part of your practice, within everything. I mean, from what I've learned about Kaizen, it gives you the freedom to do everything else because of how structured that like continuous improvement process is. That explains a lot. That explains a lot. You can do so much.
Well, and I brought Kaizen to InCord actually from a creativity standpoint. So I'm a certified creativity coach through Kaizen Muse. So while I explored it from artistic side, what I discovered is that it really did relate back to manufacturing. The spirit of Kaizen is written about Kaizen on the manufacturing floor. And everything we've already talked about, it's that constant feedback loop. So when people give you suggestions, you're saying, this is why we're going to do it, or this is why we're not going to do it, and keep giving me more information, and we'll keep running it through that, the dream management of it, the continuous improvement of it, the enjoyment of process is that Kaizen piece of it that we're really adamant about incorporating all of that. So it's a wonderful workplace opportunity for anybody that doesn't know what Kaizen is. You can be creative about your approach to it, right? But the whole purpose of it is small change, continuous improvement. And it's really worked for us in that it's an informal way that we're constantly like identifying ourselves with that. But it's really, it's time well spent to look into how you can incorporate any of those ideas.
Yeah, I mean it gives you the freedom, or it gives you like having such a process of continuous improvement gives you like the space to take it to the next level. So um I really love your take there. I'm curious. I mean, I'm sure you talk to many different, whether it's distributors or different partners in the industry. What do you see like as the biggest challenge when it comes to maybe other companies on the workforce side, or maybe whether it's workforce recruitment, retention? You're the experts here, and I'm curious, what are you seeing?
I think companies that focus on putting the employees before the profits really seem to be able to successfully retain employees because the employees feel that. They feel it immediately. And it's not in alignment when the profits come before the employees' needs. And that's not to say that you shouldn't be a profitable company and that shouldn't be a very important metric for a company. But if it's the first thing, then the other needs are coming after it inherently. And it's felt throughout an organization. And it becomes really clear, and even the smaller improvements or something like that, they're shut down because, well, we can't do that today because we have to hit this, sales target. And that's going to be the focus for the company at this moment. I think, the culture of a company will eat the strategy of the company any day. And so focusing on what are the critical elements of the culture that need to really be a living, breathing, force, and where do those need to change because your, employees aren't leaving it. It really becomes critical to look at the exit interviews, understand why are people leaving? What things are causing them to leave? Do we want to consider changing that? Or did we hire somebody that was the wrong fit and not in alignment with our culture or with our goals as a company?
That makes a lot of sense. And it's funny. I wonder too if naturally, just as leaders, you have like personality traits. It sounds like both of you are so comfortable with reflecting on what could be that it comes natural to you. And so, and that's a good piece of feedback is it's not always the employee of why they exited, but to really look at it from every angle. That's interesting. And you kind of said this already, but if you were to give maybe advice to somebody who's struggling to keep their people, it sounds like reflecting, looking at their exit interviews and really trying to figure out like what was it. Is there any other piece of feedback that you would want to say to just MHEDA members in general? Workforce challenges continues to be a struggle, and sometimes it can feel like it like you go round and round. So is there any other thing that you would want to share with everyone about what you've experienced?
I don't know.
You touched on it with the continuous feedback loop. If you don't have a lot of turnover, you don't have a lot of exit interviews to look at. So one of the brilliant ideas I've heard from another industry is there's a family entertainment center where the owner asks every 6 months, asks their employees why they stay. Every 6 months, she sits down, she gives them a Starbucks gift card, and she says, why do you stay? And so that's also critical feedback to understand if you've got employees that are staying there, why are they staying there? So that just asking people that feedback loop, approaching people, whether in an informal setting or a formal setting, whether it's on their annual performance reviews, or if there's a systematic approach and structure to it, or maybe it's just management by walking around and you're able to just ask, how long have you been working here? Tell me why you stay, or tell me what else you'd like to see. I mean, it's just really asking. And the people that are closest to the problems are the ones that are closest to the solution. And so asking people, what problems do you foresee, or what are you dealing with, or what can I help you with? Oftentimes like that Kaizen, maybe it's a $5 fix, like let's just make their day smoother for them. So I think, not underestimating the simplicity of just plain asking people directly, that has really been successful for us, where you're not afraid to ask. We're not afraid of the answers. We're not taking it personally. Tell us what we're working with, and let's see if we can improve it together. Right. And I think that's the other leadership trait of being willing to ask the tough questions, or being willing to just get that feedback and the answers in a non-defensive way, that you can say, okay, let's look at how that's impacting you, or, where can we create an improvement there, or explain why it's never going to change. But just like the simple act of letting people be heard is really powerful.
Yeah. So whether it's exiting or not, really, it's why are you staying? It's the people that are there already. They're going to be your best resource. It's been so fun to talk to both of you. I want to come tour InCord. I'm like, I want to come see. And it's funny. It's John, I see a lot that comes to our events, and we're, I think, of similar age, and he's been at InCord as long as I've known him, and only has good things to say. And so it's been really cool to talk to both of you and hear it firsthand. But I'm gonna leave you with one more question. So, you've been leaders for a long time, and, maybe this was pre-InCord, maybe this was at InCord, but what would you say is the biggest leadership lesson that you've had throughout your entire, career as you've been a leader, as you've been an employee? If you can think of one lesson that you've learned, and how has it impacted how you run today?
I guess I could start. So I started as in a leadership role quite young. I was 26 when I started managing people, and I became president of the organization by 29. And I really felt at first that I needed to be somebody I wasn't. I needed to be more, more authoritative, more, powerful in my command, more extroverted. And what I've come to realize, working with all of these individuals in our company and with customers, is that I just need to be myself. I need to work on myself sometimes, but I just need to be myself. And when I'm myself, I can better serve our company, because I'm in a good space where I'm true to myself. I'm true to the things that matter to me, the integrity and the accountability, and others are able to be inspired from that. And I'm able to lead from a place that's comfortable for me and who I am. So I'd say that's the biggest thing that I've learned from being able to lead at InCord, is people are looking for me to be me, and, have my support, versus no one's expecting me to be somebody else that I'm not.
Yeah, hit it right on the head. I'm like, I think we can all take that
Absolutely.
lesson in general. Yeah, Robin, do you have one too?
Amy from MMI gave me a book written by a West Point somebody. That's the first person you have to lead is yourself. The first person you have to lead is yourself. So echoing what Meredith said, that authenticity, the honesty that you're showing somebody else, honesty begets honesty. So when you're being honest with yourself, other people, you're building credibility with other people, and not underestimating how vital and critical and powerful your own individual presence really is. And I think that's why we celebrate leaders in every individual, is because every single individual is leading themselves, and together we're better, right? So I just echo that the authenticity, and I would say, like, asking for help when you need it. Be vulnerable when you need help with something. Find a teammate, find a mentor, find a sounding board, find a resource, find a therapist, find somebody that is willing to help you get to that next level that you want to get yourself to. And I think that's the other thing of a really good leader isn't afraid to say, I don't know, I need help. And we're also in a position to be helping other people, but how could somebody come to me for help if I'm not willing to show that I'm willing to accept it too, and delegating? So
Mhm. 100%. I love that you said therapy, because I kind of feel like this was a little like mini therapy session in a way. That I'm like, oh wow, it's just really, it's imploring me to be like, I need to look inward. And you're so right. Asking for help, it feels like you're showing all your cards. You want to, show that you know everything. Meredith, I can so relate to that feeling of, oh, maybe I should be more like serious or authoritative. And I'm not in your leadership position, but that's something that hits me sometimes where I'm like, maybe I should be a bit more serious, but people will know. And they're like, you're so, you just have a different way about you. So I resonate with everything you guys have said today. I think MHEDA members and anybody who listens to this podcast would resonate. InCord sounds like an amazing place to work. And I really appreciate both your time, and I look forward to seeing you at the next MHEDA event.
Yeah, girl. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very much. It's been a pleasure talking with you today, Katie.
It was great to talk to both of you. And for everyone listening, thank you so much for staying tuned to MHEDA Talks. I know this won't be the last time we hang with InCord. So thanks again, and see you soon.